Welcome, friends. James Corbett here, CorbettReport.com, with your thought for the day, July 1st, 2016. And did you hear yesterday, June 30th, 2016, around 9 a.m. local time, there was some pretty exciting developments taking place on Joint Base Andrews.
We're following a news alert right now. Live pictures out of Joint Base Andrews, where there is a lockdown in place.
7's Elitza BTOs is live in the Satellite Center to tell us what's going on. Elitza?
Ladies, we're working to collect information, but what we can tell you is, yes, Joint Base Andrews is on lockdown right now. What we're learning is that there's been a report of an active shooter. Once again, Joint Base Andrews is currently on lockdown.
Exciting stuff. Did you catch all of that? The breaking news graphic and the news alert, Chiron on the bottom, and the exciting music bed, and then they cut to the dramatic live shot taken from miles away in a helicopter of absolutely nothing, and then the talking head telling you that, well, we've been told to say, yes, the base is on lockdown, and there may be an active shooter or something going on. It's all very exciting stuff, and I'm sure people are glued to their seat when they're watching this on the boob tube. But CNN, don't worry, was on the beat as well, and giving their own confused version of what was happening or not happening on the base.
There's a report of an active shooter. Was there a drill going on at the time? Okay, so there was some sort of training drill going on at the time, and then during that drill, an actual call came through, and now Joint Base Andrews is on lockdown.
Wait, okay, so there was a drill, and during the drill, there was some kind of report that came through of an active shooter, so now they're on lockdown. Okay, I see what's happening. So there was something happen. Oh, wait, no. It was all made up.
We now are told by law enforcement officials that this turned out to be a false report. The all clear has now been given to the personnel there on Joint Base Andrews. Again, there was this planned drill that was supposed to take place today, and it appears that someone thought they saw something and called emergency services 911.
Okay, so actually, no, none of this really happened. All there was some kind of training exercise, and during that, someone made some kind of call because they saw some personnel moving around in a suspicious way, so that became a real exercise that was being reported and then became a real lockdown. Very interesting, isn't it? Well, there are many ways we can break this down, what was happening there and what could have been happening, and the fact that Joint Base Andrews is where Air Force One resides and also where Marine One shuttles choppers the president in and out of the White House and all of that. It's a very strategic and sensitive base, so obviously has national security implications. Joe Biden had to cancel or at least postpone some sort of trip that he was making as part of all of this that was happening at the base yesterday. So very interesting from that perspective. Also interesting to think, well, who called this in? And, was that, could that be some sort of veiled threat? Could that be someone who knows about the drills that's taking place that wants to piggyback on them? Those are the types of considerations that should be made, at any rate, by people in the national security establishment. But don't worry, Joint Base Andrews actually officially tweeted out that they're not going to even hold a press conference about what happened yesterday. So don't worry, friends. It's all been memory hold. And actually, I was looking for videos on this on CNN, and they've scrubbed them all from the website. All you can find now are these little videos, lights that they've posted up on Twitter. So the only Andrews Air Force base lockdown information you'll get is from May 2016, where apparently some woman drove up to the main gate claiming to have a bomb, and so they locked down the base. But I don't know, in the light of this, did they? Was that really what happened? Was that a drill? Does the media report on drills as if there is real? Do bears like to defecate in the woods? As I broke it down here when NBC News tweeted this out yesterday, confusion over this morning's active shooter drill led to the report of an active shooter at Joint Base Andrews. No shooting. Or as I remarked, nothing to see here, folks. We decided not to go live with this one. Yes, it has become something of a truism over the past couple of decades that every time there's a major event like this, lo and behold, golly gee whiz, shucks darn, wouldn't you know it, there seems to be a drill taking place of the exact same thing at the exact same place at the exact same time. Now this, what happened at Joint Base Andrews, may very well have just been what they are now reporting it to have been. It may very well have been someone just calling it in and some confusion going on and people taking it seriously. That is plausible at any rate, and certainly explains why this got reported and then retracted before being memory hold. But it still points to the underlying phenomenon that drills sometimes can be actually not mistaken for, but actually somehow become the real thing. That's an interesting phenomenon. Again, this should not be news to my regular readers or listeners. For people who need some introduction to this, I will throw in a link to the excellent Shoestring 9/11 blog that has an entire section on the 9/11 drills that were taking place in the weeks leading up to 9/11, as well as 9/11 itself. Numerous reports. Pentagon medics thought 9/11 attack was part of a drill. United Airlines held an exercise 12 days before 9/11 that was so realistic that when 9/11 occurred, their personnel had to be reassured that, no, this is not a drill. The famous phrase, is this real world or exercise? We've probably all heard on the NORAD tapes by now, but if not, you should be spending more time in the Corbett Report podcast archives, because I've played that clip before. But anyway, real world or exercise, did the US military mistake the 9/11 attacks for a training scenario? And probably a lot of people have heard about this, but these articles have so much source documentation, excellent, extremely well researched, lots and lots of information to go through here. So that's enough to get you started. And this weekend I'm going to be writing about specifically about this connection with drills going live in the newsletter and putting together some case histories of this and why this happens time and time again. It's some pretty important stuff to understand and to really understand what false flag operations are and how they work. But here's an example right here, and if you go to the show notes for this video, you can find the links to all of these various videos and start piecing some of this together. Interesting stuff. Once again, James Corbett, CorbettReport.com. Talk to you again soon.